Hello, everyone. You're all muted, so if you want to talk, you have to unmute. We're going to give people just a few more minutes to join us. Hi, Enid. Hi, Nina.
Hello.
That's Sharon. Hello. I see a phone number. I don't know who it is.
Where is it? Oh, I don't know who that is.
Well, we're glad you're here. Oh, there's Cantor.
Hi all.
I do know it's your office, but it still reminds me of Blue's Clues.
I changed the chairs to try and fix that problem.
I know.
I think the orange chairs were, and you know, in Blue's Clues, they did not have an iPad on a music stand, so I'm at least Blue's Clues 2.0.
That's true. You are correct. That's very true.
I like the purple wall.
Thanks.
I've truly always wanted like a purple wall.
I love purple. I see Rabbi.
Sharon, I see you're still gazing at the northern lights. I guess you couldn't get anyone to help you change that.
Teach me how to put it back to normal.
I have to tell you, Sharon, I was really sad when I delivered the bag to your house Friday, but didn't get to see you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I was so excited I got to come up to your house, and then you weren't.
Oh.
It's okay. It was raining so hard.
I bet. Yeah, it was raining. But it's beautiful, the bag. Just beautiful. I love it.
Glad. Hi, Rabbi.
Hello, hello.
What is your background? Where are you?
I think that's the Tonight Show. Yeah.
Or no, is it Jimmy Fallon?
I think it's the Tonight Show. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. It looks like
Rabbi, are you going to share your screen, or do you want me to?
Yeah. No. If you can make me co-host, I'm happy to share.
I'm sorry. I think we need a hora. Sharon figured out Zoom.
Yay!
Mazel tofu, mazel tofu, simon tofu, mazel tofu.
Sometimes it's the small victories.
Gosh, it was too much having the stars behind me every time I went on. This is good.
Hi, Enid. Hi, Stanley.
Hello. How are you?
Doing well. Bob, Carolyn, you want to unmute yourselves and say hi?
I guess not.
Nice. Very nice. I can see the Zoom skills improving over time.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Meanwhile, I still haven't figured out why this happens.
What happened?
What?
Here, you can all enjoy this for a moment.
Oh yes, that's right.
It's it has to do with the computer you're on and the settings on your Zoom. It took me a while to figure it out.
No, but I that's the button I press to say I have a green screen, and that's what it looks like.
Yeah, no, there's something more to it. I don't know.
There's more?
Yes, it's about the account you're logged in on, because I can use the same computer on multiple accounts, and sometimes I'm invisible.
Oh.
It's a fun superpower. Rabbi, let's give it just another minute. Like, I just had 3 or 4 people join, so let's give it another minute or two.
I'm not in a rush.
Good place to go. Where are we going to go?
I do want to tell you all that Rabbi asked how much time he had tonight, so I mean, our goal was an hour, but just so that you're all prepared.
It's
been a little time since I've taught, so you know, I'm gonna take all I can get.
More power to you. Oh, Janet Applefield, it says you're on. I can't see you, but it's nice to have you. I see Susan and Renee. So nice seeing faces.
Not all faces.
All the faces. I like them all. Okay. Everybody's in at the moment.
Hope everybody got their text reminder.
Oh, it went
Yes.
out. Yay.
Yeah, it was
Did that
good.
make it easy? The link was right there. It was easy for everyone.
Well, it's more for me, more like a reminder because I use the link on my computer, but I like the reminder.
Yes, me too.
Nice.
It's good. Yeah.
Good. That's good for us to know.
Interesting.
I haven't linked on my phone yet. That's where the message is. I
Right.
just go through the link on the email. Yeah,
We like to give it to you in more than one location. That is our hope and goal.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
For all of us that forget.
Oh, Rose, your haircut is so adorable. Did you cut it or is it in a ponytail? I love it. So as we're just waiting for a few more people, this evening you will want something to write with.
That's
So,
what I was going to ask.
Yep, tonight is Unlock Acknowledgement, which we'll talk about, but as we're just giving it another minute or two, you will
Okay.
want, there may even have been some cards in your Shabbat bag that you got on Friday, but you will want something to write on and something to write with.
You don't want to, you're not going to write on these initially though.
Right.
Uh,
So that
You
so
write
is,
let me get my cards.
yep, take your time. We'll give it a couple minutes. You have a moment or two. But you will want something to write on and something to write
Renee
with.
is so humble. You started talking about them. She walked away.
Ready.
I'll just give everybody a minute to grab. Say one more minute, and then we are officially on Jewish Standard Time,
Okay.
That's
right? Isn't that how it works? 5 minutes is Jewish Standard Time?
Unless you're German, then it's 5 minutes. It's too much.
I didn't say German Standard Time. I said
No, German Jewish. Yeki Standard Time. Yeki Standard Time is exactly on 5 o'clock. I mean 7 o'clock. I was once part of a synagogue where if I started on time, I was 5 minutes late.
Well, you know.
What the sound? What was he doing this? What the hell was it? My notepad.
Okay. Does everybody have something to write on and write with?
Yes.
No.
Awesome.
Garbage. I'll let you do it.
Ah, the joys of tech.
Mm.
Okay.
Now you all know how all of the students across the state of Florida are feeling after day 2 of
Okay,
virtual
yes.
learning for many of them. We're getting a
Yeah,
first-hand
times we're playing with it
experience.
too. Yeah, it's a unique experience.
Said it was much better today.
Good.
Good.
I'm reading that there is a big shortage of laptops because we're all Zooming.
Yes. There's also a shortage of bandwidth out there.
In every
So-
sense of the word.
Yeah, right. Okay, Rabbi, it's 7:06. I say Jewish and German Standard Time. We're either on time or late.
I think we are ready to go. Bruchim habaim. Welcome, everybody. to the first in our series of unlocking yourself, unlocking the holidays. You are the key, and it's going to be, I think, a really fantastic experience in the next 6 weeks that we can learn together through different creative modalities about different themes relating to the high holidays. And so this week has been unlocking acknowledgement. And we're going to take a moment to sort of think of what that means in our context right now, Jewishly. But it is really exciting after all these sort of weeks of planning and preparing, trying to think about almost like Passover. How are these holidays going to be different than all other holidays, which we know why, certainly, but how are we going to, create meaning? How are we going to create time, space, and opportunities for reflection, for learning, for growth as we enter into the most sacred of seasons? And so over the next 6 weeks, we're going to get a chance, I think, to really do some great soul-seeking and soul-searching work as we unlock the holidays together. We're going to begin with the concept of acknowledgement. So when we think about the word acknowledgement, how do we acknowledge things in Jewish tradition? What are some ways we can acknowledge, express acknowledgement? This is the interactive part of the program.
On Yom Kippur, you acknowledge by hitting your chest when you read the sins.
Yes, the Hashamna is a ritual acknowledgement, right? We have a Hashamna and we pound our chest. That's part of the symbolism. That's very good. Thank you.
Ask for forgiveness.
We ask for forgiveness. That's very good. So we have that moment of teshuvah. We acknowledge our faults and our wrongdoing.
Our book of remembrance. We acknowledge
Our book
people.
of remembrance. Yep. Great. That's a really good one. Acknowledge those who came before us and their contributions to our lives. Very nice.
In the past, even just like shaking hands with people, acknowledging one another.
Acknowledging one another, right? Coming together to greet each other, to embrace each other, to create and share and rejoice in a bond of connectedness. That's really nice.
I think of Avinu Malkeinu, where we recognize God with many different names.
We acknowledge God, right? And different ways, different perspectives, different lenses we can view God through. Excellent. That's really good.
I think different customs, even dinner, holiday customs, all acknowledge what we are thinking and what we're doing for the holiday.
Wonderful. The power of ritual, whether we mean ritual as in something like hearing the sound of the shofar, right? A ritual act that dates back thousands of years, or our own personal rituals that we share with our family and with our community, coming together to enjoy dinner, celebrate the holiday, little things we do together that each year are important to us. And without it, it feels like a little bit less, right? It would feel a little bit diminished by not engaging in them, which is a hard part of this year. So that's a great point.
I think getting our act together and doing what we can for the environment to pass along something better than we have now.
To acknowledge our role, right, in being a steward and being a caretaker for the planet, right? Doing mitzvot, right? It's a way of acknowledging. That's really good.
Did somebody say we're acknowledging a beginning? We're acknowledging a beginning?
And very good. Acknowledging a beginning, right, of a new year, a fresh start, we hope. That idea of being able to turn over a new leaf to start with a clean slate. So acknowledging the beginning of something, right, the beginning of a year and the beginning of opportunities, right, to do things better. No, really nice, really nice. So taking that step back, so many great ideas. I wanted to touch upon the idea of prayer. Oh, we got a little bit of feedback there.
I was going to say, if you're not talking, I'd love for you to mute, and that way you can unmute as Rabbi gives us an opportunity to chat with one another.
Indeed.
Thank you.
And they're going to be coming fast and furious, I hope. So we'll see. So, as I said, I'm all hyped up right now, ready to teach. So, okay, so taking that step back of acknowledgement, so many different great ideas. And so many of them emphasize the idea of connection, the connection to each other and connection to God. And one of the ways we express that connection is prayer, right? You know, when we pray, it's a sense of acknowledgement. We acknowledge God's presence. We acknowledge God's role in our lives. We acknowledge to ourselves what we are thinking about and how we're going to do better. How are we going to strive higher to achieve, to move forward in our lives, especially during the high holy days. And before we even delve a little deeper into prayer, what is prayer anyway? What's prayer? What do we mean when we say prayer? Now we can unmute.
Talking to God.
Talking to God, okay. Hey God, how you doing? What's going on? What else?
I was thinking about talking to God yesterday in reference to the movie Oh God, Book 2 with George Burns,
Burns,
a
yeah.
long time ago. And at the end of the movie, the little girl is wondering how God will be working with her in the future, and are there going to be future conversations? And he says to her, "You talk, I'll listen."
Yes, no, that's very good. You know, that we have that conversation. Sometimes maybe it feels a little bit, you know, like we're doing all the talking, but that's very nice. When we talk to God, so I want to sort of zero in a little bit more. How do we talk to God? What are different kinds of things we talk to God about, perhaps, you know, when we pray?
We ask for things.
We ask for stuff. That's right, right? So we got requests. We
True.
got the I want, right? Or I need, right?
Also give thanks.
And to give thanks. Very good. Okay, so those are our two of our biggest modalities, right? The I want, I need. Cantor, go ahead, please.
You're awesome.
You're awesome. Thank you. The big three. You got it exactly right. We're attuned. That's very nicely done. So we have the I want, I need. You know, please God, you know, I need X to happen or Y not to happen, right? Thank you, God, for X happening or for Y not happening. So we got the requests, we have the thanks, and we just have, hey, God, awesome. You know, fantastic. You did a bang-up job in that universe. You know, like, really appreciate that. You know, thank you. You know, and so we have praise, we have thanks, and we have request. Now when we want to pray, we got a book, right? Or a screen, however we're going to do it, right? We have a book, we have a prayer book that tells us the prayers that we're going to use to express praise, to express thanks, to express our requests to God. It's very nice, a big blue book about yay thick, you know, and it has all different prayers in it. But if we were sitting here as Jews 2,000 years ago on Zoom, not exactly going to work, but 2,000 years ago, right? We didn't have a prayer book. It wasn't there. But we still had prayer. And so how did that work? So that have, you know, Shmuel come up. Shmuel, come say a prayer. Say a prayer about creation, for example, right? And Shmuel would get up and he'd talk about creation and he'd pray. Extemporaneous, creative. It would be a prayer from his heart, right? It would be a prayer that he was going to talk about God's role in creation. The next guy would come up. Yitzi, come up. Yitzi, come up. Revelation, Torah. Talk about Torah for us, Yitzi. Yitzi comes up and talks about Torah. Okay, great. Next week happens. Shmuel, come up, talk about creation again. It might not be the same prayer because he doesn't remember what he had last week. You know, or someone else could come up and say the prayer about creation. But they're going to find themes 2,000 years ago that they want every time they pray to touch upon. So just as if I ask the question here about what are the things that we pray for, what are the things that are important to us to talk to God about, we might focus on things like health, right? Like peace, things that we sort of think about as important in conversations to God. And thousands of years ago, they were doing the same thing. They're trying to find different ideas on what could be important to them when it came to prayer. What did they need to talk to God about? And slowly but surely, over the course of centuries, these prayers finally become standardized. But for a long time, they were creative. They were exercises in creative writing and creative thinking. They would come up with these ideas, and the ones that were the best become the ones we have in our prayer book. Of course, that's a subjective assessment, but the ones that they like the best, they become eventually standardized. So that way, every week on Shabbat, when you open up the prayer book and you see the prayer of creation, if it's in the evening, you know it's going to be Ma'ariv Aravim. And in the morning, you're going to know it's going to be Yotzer. Those are the two creation prayers that have become standardized in our books from, again, thousands of years ago. In my introduction to liturgy class, we can delve into that a little bit deeper, but for the sake of time, we'll move forward a little bit. So for our prayer book, right, we have prayers that are about creation and revelation, because in our book called the Mishnah, the Talmud, the oral Torah, and then the commentary on the oral Torah, we're told during a service, during Shabbat, we have the Shema, and we have two prayers before it, creation and revelation, and one prayer after it in the morning. In the evening, we have two prayers that are before it and two prayers that are after it. There's an extra prayer in the evening, and that extra prayer is, dun, 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 let's find out together. So you might want to guess from the topic today. It's our friend Hashki Venu. Hashki Venu is our extra prayer that we have in the evening. Why? Why is Hashki Venu only said in the evening? Can anyone take a guess for me?
Because it's spooky at night.
Because it's spooky at night. That is exactly right. For all of my Game of Thrones fans, the night is dark and full of terrors. Okay, it is scary at nighttime. Nighttime is very difficult. Why is it scary at night?
You can't find your way.
You can't find your way. You're in synagogue on a Friday night. Rabbi's sermon went a little long. It's 10 p.m. You know, there ain't no street lights. You know, there's no fire maybe because you don't have a torch because it's Shabbos. You know, maybe you lit it earlier. Who knows? You got to walk home in the dark. And what can happen to you in the dark when there's no lights and no cops?
Nothing good.
Nothing good, right? You know, you can get beat up by some dude and take your wallet. That's going to be it for you, or worse, right? So that's a component to it, right? So nighttime is when bad stuff can happen from a person-to-person level. What else?
Animals. Animals could get you.
Animals, right? Get bit by something, you know? Bear comes out, you know, and that's it for you. Okay, good. You know, bear attack, wolf attack, not good.
Road.
Say again?
On Belcher Road, a bear.
On Belcher Road, exactly. You know, tiger can come out and get you. Okay, so.
You could get lost.
You can get lost, right? You can be wandering around. You can't find your shtetl. It's going to be a problem. You can't find your house. You know, not what you want either. No, that's no good. So, but now we got to take it to an even deeper level, right? So those are all the rational things we can think about. Maybe tigers are less rational, but the rational things we can think about. What about some of the irrational concerns that we might have?
Ghosts.
Ghosts, thank you. Ghosts and goblins and demons and spirits that can come get you at night. They can come grab you at night. None of that is fun. You don't want any of that touching you. So you need a prayer. You need a prayer called Hashki Venu, which is going to ask God to do what?
Protect us.
Protect us. Very good. It's going to shelter us, right, from all the bad stuff that can happen to us. Keep us safe through the night. Protect us from all of this stuff. So we look here in the Hebrew, Hashki Venu, right? Adonai Eloheinu. It cause us to lie down, l'shalom, in peace. And then Ha'amidenu, Ahmad, you see there standing. Raise us up, our protector, to life. And all this good stuff. And you see over here where it says Haser, right? Haser. Keep away from us all this bad stuff, I'm pointing all this bad stuff that's here. And if you don't believe me, we have a translation on the next page, which can help us as well. So grant that we lie down in peace, raise us up to life renewed. Spread over us your shelter of peace, your sukkot shlomecha, right? Your sukkah of peace. Guide us with good counsel, be our help, and then you shield and shelter us beneath the shadow of your wings, right? So God should spread the divine wings over us to protect us from harm, like a mother bird and the nestlings and the fledglings, right? Then defend us against enemies, illness, war, famine, and sorrow. But even further, help us control our own impulses, right? Our own impulses to maybe do wrong. Distance us from wrongdoing, right? So protect us even from ourselves, even from our own things that we might go astray, so that might lead us astray. And then in more praise, watch over us, deliver us, because you are merciful. And again, make sure that whenever we leave, right, are going and coming, literally when we enter and exit, but in a greater sense to life itself, always guard us to life and peace. And so this is really a beautiful prayer that speaks to the idea of protection, but it's just one, right? This is the prayer that got codified. This is the prayer that got standardized. But there are other prayers out there that maybe didn't make the cut. Maybe if we asked you tonight to write a Hashkivenu, maybe you do better. Maybe you find something, right, that could be just as good, if not more so, than these ancient words. Are you up to the task or the challenge? We'll find out, I guess, today. I'm going to turn it over to Danny to take us to our creative writing exercise.
So if you don't mind, Rabbi, will you flip to the next page for me?
I will flip to the next page.
So your task, if you so choose, I love the way you said, are you up to the task? So we are going to explore a form of poetry this evening in thinking about the Hashkivenu. So I actually would love to see, I'm going to try this out on Zoom. Does anybody want to read this for me out loud and share it with everybody?
Sure.
Go for it.
Haiku is a form of poetry that focuses on a brief moment in time and a sense of sudden illumination or enlightenment.
Thank you so much. So thinking about acknowledgement for a moment, Rabbi started with prayer. I'm going to go a different direction as we get our creative juices flowing before we write. Can anybody think at the moment of a brief moment in time where there was a sudden illumination or enlightenment? And for the purposes of this conversation, let's keep it to the last, 5 months. Is there some kind of acknowledgement or illumination or enlightenment that you can think of that you've sort of had over the last 5 months? Something you would acknowledge. And I can't see everybody because of the screen, but I'll just ask you to go ahead and speak out.
How connected we are globally.
Interesting how connected we are. It's great.
Gratitude that we're healthy.
How much time
Absolutely.
with other people?
I'm sorry, what was that? How much?
Time we spend with other people that we can't right now.
Absolutely. Yeah.
How much my wife and I really depend on each other.
Sure. We're spending a lot of time together, right?
We are.
It's not a brief moment at the moment. Anybody else?
I have one. The
Sure.
environment outside of my home is beautiful.
Nina, do you have something? Your hand was up.
Oh yeah, that I can spend 8 hours a day in the room in the office with my son and not pick on each other and get along.
That's a huge moment of enlightenment, I feel like.
I was thinking about the things we take for granted, and sometimes even the people we take for granted in our lives that help us in so many ways.
Great. Renee, I saw your lips moving. I wasn't sure if you knew you were muted or if you're good. You're still muted. Oh,
I am?
now you're not.
Okay. No, I have nothing. I said it. But it's true.
Okay.
It's true. We realize now that we're so grateful for the things that we had. I don't think we all appreciated how much we had as far as togetherness and just doing things. And now we can't. So
Sure. Absolutely. Anybody else? I found it interesting that a haiku, again, thank you so much, Barbara, for reading this, that it's a form of poetry that focuses on a brief moment in time. And as Rabbi was talking about prayer each week and the fact that they would call up Shmuel, or I don't even know which Hebrew words you used, Rabbi Shmuel, and who are your other names? That they would talk about Torah, or they would be given a theme. And it was literally a brief moment in time that they were to share a message, right, with the congregation that they were leading. And so what we're going to do is we're going to take a few minutes. Rabbi and Cantor have tasked us, without knowing it, in helping them write high holiday services. And so you have an opportunity this evening to write a haiku. So Rabbi, can you flip the page for me, please? There we go. So I got, nope, back one. You went too far. There we go. So let's do a little bit of creative writing learning for those that may not have had English in the last few years. What is a traditional haiku? So a haiku only has 3 lines, totaling 17 syllables. So it's 5, 7, 5. So the first line is 5 syllables. The second line is 7, and the third line is 5. I am the last person in the world to talk to you about capitalization and punctuation and grammar. But what I do know is that a haiku does not have to rhyme. In fact, it usually doesn't. So if you like poetry and you've read a lot, haikus usually tell a message. They share something with us, as we read before, that's just a brief moment. So right here you can see, "Oh, peace, there you are. Where have you been all this time? Right here inside you." So the theme of Hashkivenu, this idea of peace, turned into a haiku. So what I would like to give you an opportunity to do for a couple minutes is, let's take, I don't know, let's give you 5 minutes, maybe Cantor, I don't know if you have any music loaded on your computer that maybe we can share with them while they're writing. I don't know, I could sing for you, that would be entertaining. But if you want to go ahead and take 5 minutes, I would like to challenge you all to write a holiday haiku, a haiku of acknowledgement of something that you can share that was a brief moment of enlightenment or illumination over the past 5 months. If a haiku is not your thing, I know sometimes our creative juices flow in many ways. So if you'd rather just write a poem or a sentence or a statement, that's okay too. But one of the things that the high holidays do is it encourages us to look inwards and to look at prayer in a different way. So I'd like to challenge you to write a haiku if you are up to the task. And then we will take a few moments and share them. And if you are comfortable, we will ask you to submit them to us at the end of the night, either via email or take a picture. We'll tell you how to send it to us so that they can be incorporated at some point over the holidays.
I can play music if you want me to. I don't know if it's going to work. I can try.
I mean, some people like music when they work. for those on video, if you sort of hold your paper up as you're done, I'll know maybe we're getting closer. I don't want to rush anybody. Perfect. Thank you, Cantor. Rabbi, I think maybe while we're sharing, we could come off screen share view so everyone could see one another. Perfect. Would anybody like to share their haiku? I went first. I shared the one on the screen with you. So just as a reminder, oh peace, there you are. Where have you been all this time? Right here inside you. Anybody ready to go?
I'll try one.
Okay, go for it, Eric.
We said, found the Garden of Eden. It was right there in our backyard. We never bothered to look.
Awesome. I love that. What was your inspiration?
I don't know. We just started sitting out in the back, having breakfast out there, and it was like, gee, it's really nice out here. We just never sat out there before, and we just realized how beautiful it was, and it was because we were home all day and we had nothing to do. We started sitting out there, and we realized it's really nice out there. It's really beautiful. A lot of nice plants, a lot of nice. It's just nice.
And a couple of fans help.
And a couple of fans helped. Yeah, that's true.
Absolutely. Would you read it one more time for us?
Sure.
Thank you.
Found the Garden of Eden. It was right there in our backyard. We never bothered to look.
That's
beautiful. Thank you. I hope you will share that with us either in the chat or via email so we can incorporate that somewhere along the way.
Happy to do it.
Thank you. Who'd like to go next? Enid, I see your hand up in the screen.
Shalom, friend of mine. I wish you peace and health. I wish for you peace and health for the coming year.
Beautiful message. What was the inspiration for you?
Well, we're not going to be able to greet each other personally, so got to do it verbally or somehow.
Or Zoomerly.
Or Zoomerly.
Or Zoomerly. That was lovely. Would you read it one more time? I thought that was a lovely high holiday message.
Shalom, friend of mine. I wish for you peace and health for the coming year.
I'm going to go a step further, Enid, and ask if you are comfortable. I would love for you to video that and send it in to us so we can use it as a high holiday message.
I don't know how.
Well, okay, we'll take it in writing then. Who else would like to share? Josh, I see your hand up. Josh Gamson, not Rabbi Josh LaBelle.
We may have missed out on the world and people who were always right here.
Lovely. What was your inspiration?
Spending a lot of time together with family in a small location, and realizing that there are many hours and times missed because we've had lots of other things going on in our lives, and this was an unexpected extra long Shabbat. So we missed things prior to it.
The busyness of the everyday. Would you read it one more time for us, please?
We may have missed out on the world and people who were always right here.
Lovely. Thank you. Nina.
Okay. Graduate via Zoom, internet, and TV. Happy anyway.
What was I know your inspiration, but will you share with the rest of us what your inspiration was?
Well, the inspiration was that my son was graduating from FSU in the spring, and he came home for spring break, and he never went back. And graduation was literally on TV for a half hour. But he was happy anyway. He didn't really care, so, which was nice.
Nice. Will you read it one more time? I find haikus sometimes you just have to listen to more than once.
Graduate via Zoom, internet, and TV. Happy anyway.
I think there's a lot of families in our community that can relate to that. We had a good sized senior class this year at Temple, so thank you for sharing. Who else would like to share? Rose, I saw you typed yours into chat. Do you want to read it or you just wanted to leave it there? I wasn't sure. Are you on mute? Okay, I'll let you leave it there for a minute. Okay, Sharon, go for it.
Okay. The earth is peaceful. I see God's beauty daily. I am so grateful.
Beautiful. What was your inspiration?
Well, we have the time now to sit on our porch and have dinner and breakfast. And what we see outside is really breathtaking.
And if you follow Sharon's Facebook page, you would know that she makes friends with the cranes that sit outside. And
I do.
thank you for sharing.
You're welcome.
Who else? Oh, Cantor, I see your hand.
Oh, I am in. My prayer is confined in little boxes on screen. Fly free, sweet prayer, fly.
What was your inspiration?
Well, that we pray towards these little boxes, but that our prayers should hopefully go beyond the smallness of the screens in front of us.
Will we read it one more time, please?
My prayer is confined in little boxes on screen. Fly free, sweet prayer, fly.
Very nice. Anybody else? Oh, Melissa?
Lighting the candles, children singing blessings, enjoying family. And I'm
What was yours?
Friday night, the early Friday night, I get to see all my kids. They're lighting the candles.
Oh, that's lovely. Will you read it again?
Lighting the candles, children singing blessings, enjoying family.
Very nice. I feel like you guys are writing all of our marketing material for the next 6 weeks, so thank you. I very much appreciate it.
I've got one.
Susan, do you want to read?
Okay. The year starts anew. We resolve to do good things. Time tells the result.
Lovely. What was your inspiration?
Oh, taking on probably more than can be done in a year. So being satisfied with what you do accomplish, and the rest will be next year.
Okay. Would you read your haiku one more time? And then Barbara, you're up next, so you may want to get ready.
The year starts anew. We resolve to do good things. Time tells the result.
Very lovely. Thank you. Barbara?
These are all absolutely fantastic. I love this. Challenges abound. Pray for a new beginning that brings us great peace.
And what was your inspiration?
Well, challenges abound for, well, certainly the last, whatever it is, 6 months, but before that as well, the whole year. Pray for a new beginning because I see Rosh Hashanah as a new beginning that brings us great peace. And I think we need internal peace and external peace as well.
It's lovely. Thank you. Lila, I saw your face. I wasn't sure if you had written something or we just got to see your cute face. Anybody else want to read? There's one in the chat. Oh, Renee, go for it.
It's kind of corny. We have found a way to make this really sad time work. Being great. Oh, it's bad. I used work.
No such thing.
All right, let's see. We have found a way to make this sad time better. Being grateful seems to work.
Okay. What was
Kinda
your
yucky.
inspiration?
I don't know.
Your inspiration was yucky?
Yeah, I don't know.
What was your inspiration?
I don't know. I am always looking for things to be happy about instead of to be sad about. So, and it's easy when you look for the good things, you always find them.
Okay. Would you read it one more time, please?
Needs work. We have found a way to make this really sad time better. Being grateful seems to work.
That's lovely. I don't think it needs work at all. Anybody else? So Rose wrote one really quick. She put it in the chat. So thank you, Rose, for contributing. It says, we have lots of fun staying close to family, even far apart, which I think is lovely and so very beautiful, especially for a family your size that is so used to being together all the time, finding ways to connect. So thank you for sharing that. May we, you can just shake your head. May we use that in services? Yes. Okay. Thank you. Anybody else want to read or share? Did you find it difficult? Did you find writing a haiku difficult?
Not as difficult as I thought it was going to be.
That's awesome. Has anybody written a haiku in the last 6 months? Like, have you been practicing for tonight? No, I see Carolyn sort of shaking her head like maybe. Carolyn, were you writing haikus? Oh, you're on mute. I can't hear you. Hold on. You gotta unmute.
We've actually talked about them in the last year here.
Yeah.
I don't know if we wrote any, but we did talk about them recently.
I had to teach my grandson how to write one.
Okay. That's awesome.
That was a while back. He's 15 now.
Yeah. Pete? I see your hand.
I just wrote mine. This is my High Holy Day experience. Add all the Zoom links. Send the weekly email blast. Too many events.
That's
great.
That's a great
We
one.
have a winner for replacing Hashki Venu.
Pete, I want to ask you what your inspiration is because I want to be true to the process, and yet I also want to hide under the table as you tell us.
No, this is my first year going through the High Holy Days as a staff member, and it's definitely a very busy time.
Yeah,
I'll leave
sometimes
it
you
at
don't
that.
realize how difficult it is to write the prayer, right? What a beautiful imagery. What goes into it sometimes. So thanks for sharing, Pete. Anybody else? Anybody find it like super easy, like just flowed through your pen?
I didn't find it hard to write the haiku, but I found it hard to be positive. So that's why that's why we're not sharing, because it was not. It was gloomy. So
okay,
that's my.
I'd love to tell you that this is a safe space to share if you were willing to, but you also don't have to.
That's okay. I was kind of in line with Renee's actually, so that's the only reason I'm even speaking up is because I felt like I can commiserate with Renee a little bit.
That's okay. I also think it's important, and I'll have Rabbi jump in here. I think it's important to remember that prayer is not always uplifting, right? Prayer doesn't always have to be full of sunshine and good smelling roses, that sometimes coming together and being able to commiserate, I liked that word, Stephanie, thank you. Being able to commiserate and share in our struggles is just as powerful of prayer as is finding the sunshine and the Garden of Eden.
Sure.
and the high holidays really give us an opportunity to acknowledge, like, what a beautiful segue, right? That the purpose of unlocking the holidays and you being the key is we need all of those keys for acknowledgement. And let's be really honest, I said this a couple times for those of you that are part of the religious school Facebook page early on, that the last 5 months, if we acknowledge we've all been in the same storm, we may have been captaining different ships, right? So there's an acknowledgement in all of your words and all of your haikus, whether it was your Garden of Eden or setting up Zooms, right? Or finding a way to make it work. Or realizing that this is how you're going to have to wish people a Shana Tova, right? That they're going to be boxes on your screen, and finding that connection some way. So thank you all for being willing to share that. Rabbi, go ahead. What was that, Carolyn? I'm sorry.
To whom do we send it if we think of something?
Perfect. Thank you for asking that. So what I would love you to do is you can send it to Rabbi Lobel. Look at Rabbi Lobel. You can also send it, so it's either Rabbi Lobel at tbiclearwater.org. I'll put it in the chat for you, or Danny G at tbiclearwater.org. I will make sure Rabbi gets them. It may even be better to send to me because I'll sort through my emails quicker than him.
Hey.
Danny, I just wanted to point out that we have another haiku in the chat that's worth reading out.
We do? Oh, I missed it. Thank you for sharing. Oh, Lily's haiku. Yay. Thank you for writing one, Lily. Doggies kissing me. I love that doggies are cute. I love all dog kinds. I love that. That's beautiful.
Beautiful.
And very sweet. And again, acknowledging that we all need a moment to see a moment of enlightenment or illumination in a different way. And a haiku is a really lovely way to do that. So Rabbi, do you have any words before I wrap up?
A couple words. One is, you don't necessarily have to worry about recording your messages because we're recording this meeting. And so we have the possibility of lifting it out. Thanks, Pete. And more work for Pete to do. But I appreciate that. I appreciate everyone's words. It is something I think really powerful when we think about a theme of prayer and sort of make it our own. So that's how we started, today, was with the idea that the earliest prayers were ones that were created because they have to come from somewhere, right? And so it was what was in their heart. And to dovetail a little bit of what Danny mentioned is, sometimes it wasn't happy. Sometimes it wasn't all sunshine and roses. You read the Psalms, which were the earliest sort of versions of prayers. Some of them are hard reads. Some of them, talk about pain and loss and a response to personal and communal catastrophe. I find them actually very relevant, now, some of these Psalms of lament, because it might meet us where we are. Not necessarily where we want to be, but maybe where we are, and that's okay. Because that's true and that's valid, and there is an element to whenever we pray. I think we want our prayers to be true. We want our prayers to come from a place of meaning, a place that's within us. And so, in this creative moment, we have an opportunity. So think about where we are right now. To acknowledge where we are, the ups and the downs, and all of those are valid. And I think all of those, are really beautiful offerings. So I want to thank everyone for that.
Well, thank you, Rabbi. I would also like to share that if you were not comfortable sharing on the screen, or if after we hang up you write one or another one, or somebody in your household gets doggy kisses and wants to share their haiku, please email it to us. We would love to have them, to include them in some way during our high holiday celebrations, whether through prayer or messaging. As we go along. If you enjoyed this evening, I feel like a service announcement. If you enjoyed this evening, this is Tuesday evening. So Tuesday evenings from 7 to 8 is going to be an unlock. Sometimes it may have music, sometimes it may be cooking, sometimes it may be dancing, it may be some teachings with Rabbi, but we're going to call it a down and dirty hour of education and unlocking some topic related to the high holidays. The information was in your Shabbat bag last Friday. It's also on our website. if you need it, and in the wonderful weekly emails that Pete is so wonderfully doing. And we are so grateful for his help in that communication. I also want to let everybody know that on Saturday, September 12th, we are having drive-through slichot. It is the one and only opportunity during the high holidays to come to temple in person, in your car, and participate in a slichot adventure. So I think we're hoping to have, without giving too much away, an opportunity for drive-through chuppah, for prayers and blessings, an opportunity to hear the shofar live instead of on the screen. But it really is an opportunity. There's a sign up on our website. So it's from 4:30 to 6:30. You pick a time so that we actually have, a flow of traffic and drive through. Share with your friends and family. If you've been quarantining with another family or you're comfortable, drive through together to make it a kind of a nice Saturday night. There'll be a Havdalah component. So sort of the pieces you love, I'd like to call it the best of the high holidays. So the things that you really know and love in person. So that's September 12th. I don't know if you want to share the screen, Rabbi, of just the things that are coming up this week. But again, all of our information at this point, I feel like hopefully you know how to find it and share it, right? The connection with the other congregants, the connections with your families, invite somebody to join you next Tuesday. Maybe they'll enjoy doing the activity as well.
And a shameless plug, I'm teaching
Please.
and there will be lots of music.
Right, next Tuesday is with Cantor. You never know what special guests we may throw on with her Blues Clues background. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, you mean Lin-Manuel is coming back for next week?
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be so
Okay,
lovely.
that's false. Don't get that excited.
I like to hear you sing, so it's all good. So this is just what's coming up this week for those of you that are here. WTBI has a social hour. Melissa Brahm's haiku about lighting lights. We have Shabbat Light on Fridays at 5:30. It is really geared towards our youngest congregants. However, there is joy and beauty in hearing those voices and seeing those faces. So if you like candles, kiddush, and motzi, this is for you. And then, of course, our Shabbat services tie into our unlock theme. And you can't unlock something without the key, and the congregants, you are really the key. So with that, I will see, does anybody have anything they'd like to share, add? It's an opportunity to connect before we give you the rest of your evening back. I'm going to turn
This
the
was
recording
really
off.
enjoyable. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.